Hey, welcome to TamTalk. I'm Tam, your host. In this series, I'm going to be talking about fun, interesting, or thought-provoking things having to do with video games, but I thought we'd get started with the 30 days of video games. 30 question and answer style videos about my gaming past and preferences. That way, when I talk about games in the future, you'll know where I'm coming from. I get the feeling a lot of us will have similar answers, but some of the differences may surprise you. Feel free to share your answers in the comments below. So let's get started with day 1, your very first video game. Super Mario World. There technically were other games I played before this one, but this was really the first one I got invested in. I mean, playing Super C now is an exercise in not eating my controller. Doing it as a small child was next to impossible. Super Mario World had just the right gameplay mechanics, world design, music, and secrets to be one of the best games of all time. Kind of the perfect game to start out with. It's still one of my gold standards for how to do a game right. One of the things that always stands out to me about Super Mario World is how fun and satisfying it is to play. It's challenging, but it always plays by its own rules, so it never feels cheap or frustrating. The bosses tend to be pretty simple, but oh god, that crumbling floor in the fight with the mid-boss Reznor taught me the meaning of fear. Everything about Mario's movements is so fine-tuned, you know that when you take a dive off a cliff, you have no one to blame but yourself. Unless one of your brothers unplugged your controller, but I haven't had to deal with that in quite a while. The moveset is so deep, I'm still discovering new things I can do with some of the power-ups today. But possibly the best thing about the gameplay is that every single level seems to introduce something new. Green rideable dinosaur? Weird, let's do it. Immortal Koopa bones? Fine. Fire-breathing dino rhinos? Bring it on. Cactus towers, lightning fuckers, fish and bubbles? How'd that happen? Spark balls, disco balls, bowling balls, wind-up Koopalings, giant moles, ninjas, timed platforms, lava hippos, you get the idea. The list is endless. I just love that every level had something unexpected in it. Most of the newer Mario games really only surprise me in the last world. Speaking of world, I love that the world map actually looks like a map of a world. Seriously, it looks like a continent. You go from plains to caves, to mountains, to forests, to rocky steppes, to the freaking ocean. I mean, the last fight takes place on the top of a castle, in a cave, which is in the ocean. I don't think it gets much cooler than that. Unless Mario was a quarter velociraptor on his dad's side and Bowser was on fire. Plus, once you're in the levels, the backgrounds just do such a good job of making each level feel foreign and mysterious, even if they don't look like much when you really take a good look at them. I think my favorite area had to be the Chocolate Islands. They had some of the most interesting and weird levels. Plus, the ground kind of looks like it's made of chocolate Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts. It would be one thing if it was just pretty and fun to play, but I love the music in this game. The main song has such an upbeat ragtimey sound to it, you can't help but enjoy yourself. The boss music is tense and sets the mood well, and the cave music with its echoing sound really makes you feel like you're in a cave. I think my favorite is the mid-castle track. It sounds so cool and ominous. But when you get into the remixes, that's when shit gets real. Monstrous Turtles, my absolute favorite Mario remix. Go to ocremix.org and check out the rest of these, but Monstrous Turtles is where it's at for me. I also want to mention that the song that plays at the end of the game, during the credits, was one of the sweetest things I'd ever heard in my life. It's a great song, sure, but more than that, it meant that I finally beat the game. That song is the anthem of victory. And finally, there's the secrets. The first time I spotted one of those keys, I was intrigued, but I had no idea how deep the rabbit hole went. I thought I'd shit a dick the first time I touched down on the Star World. Whoa, what is this? Stars, warps, secret levels with different colored Yoshi eggs? Fuck yes, put it in my face. There was even a secret warp right to Bowser's front door. But then I found the special stages. If only I knew that finding those stages meant trying to beat some of the most insanely difficult levels I would encounter until I played Cave Story, I might not have been so excited. Every one of these stages is intense and difficult enough to give a grown man a fucking stroke. A stage where you're floating helplessly through as a balloon while enemies on platforms throw shit at you? Easy, Satan. It's only the second level, bud. You gotta pace yourself. It took me years to finally beat it, but the reward was well worth it. A sprite swap across the whole world. I still have no idea what the Koopas turned into, but I still think it's awesome. Honorable mentions for this question goes to Link to the Past and Yoshi's Island. I'll try to have honorable mentions and runners-up for each episode, because almost none of these answers are easy decisions for me. Anyway, both games I played relatively soon after and enjoyed just as much, if not more, than Super Mario World. I love that Yoshi's Island kept the same ragtime music, and even took the incredibly tense boss fights and made them even better. Link to the Past was just such a great adventure, it may get its own episode. I loved and played it so much. So there you have it, my first video game. To be fair, it's the first video game of almost everybody I know. It's just such a great, well-put-together, legendary game that it really was just one of the perfect games to start with. It gave me a healthy respect for difficult games while raising my standards for art design, level design, and playability. Anyway, tune in next time for Day 2, your favorite video game character. Make sure to share your answers in the comments below. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe and throw me a like. See you next time.